Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Outer Realm. I just forgot to play our intro. Yeah, wait for it's coming right now.
Welcome to the Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Okay, for real this time. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday night segment of the Outer Realm. We are broadcasting live here on United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM from beautiful New Orleans. The Outer Realm is fully sponsored by the amazing people over at Folgers Coffee, who have been a part of our journey from the very beginning. Thank you, Folgers. We appreciate you so very much. Also, our next fantastic sponsor, Dr. Snick, the sonic surgeon, aka Justin Snicker. He's the voice behind the intro and the outro, the music behind it as well. He's an award-winning composer of Halloween, horror, sci-fi, and dark wave electronic music. And Spooky Month is not that far away, so check him out. All of his music can be found on Bandcamp, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, you name it, it's there. So thank you. Of course, to participate in tonight's show, as you all know, I'm going to go in here and see. We are all on tonight, UFO Paranormal YouTube, The Outer Realm, UFO Gods and Extraterrestrials, and head on over. Most importantly, tonight, you guys are going to want to be on Facebook on the Outer Realm page, and there's some videos on there. You best get at it, check it out, because we're going to quiz you all on it. And Bubbles did herself this time with some exceptional ones, and we're going to have a little bit of fun with this Q&A and this topic of discussion. And we're going to look at some of this stuff and really try to analyze it, and it'll be a lot of fun. But besides that, if you're not interested in partaking in the video viewing and commenting, go on over to UFO Paranormal Radio, United Public Radio on Facebook, Joe Montaldo, UFO Undercover, Can's Most Haunted News on the flip side. And you just put your comments in. And if you're all just listening, then we hope that you can find a way to chime in, or, hopefully at least you'll just enjoy the entertainment of it all. So anyway, Bubbles, how's it going?
Hi, good. How are you?
Oh, it's been a day.
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention it, but yeah, it's been a bit of a day.
You saw my little memento of what I put up. That's kind
I did, and I was grateful. I could not see myself in it. Yeah, I think it's the full moon, that super moon that's coming. I
completely
wonder.
forgot. That would actually have a lot to do with it. Yeah. It just seems to be this whole thing about finalizing things. I think in the spring and in the winter, like the fall, we tend to clean house, as we say. Just clean house and go into the next, harsh season, kind of like what the pagans did. Getting into the solstice, just sweep the floors, get rid of stuff. I think it's the same with us when it comes to tying up loose ends and
the energy.
Yeah. And hey, Chris, hey, David. I think it has to do, there's a degree of fear. I think people don't like change very much. They tend to shy away from it. And I think in doing so, you probably attest to this, because we're often in situations where we're stuck with things, but you're afraid to move on and you're stuck in the same old, you're not on that hamster wheel.
I'm not afraid to move on. I'm trying to kick them off my feet right now. I'm having the opposite happen, but I have had what you're talking about. Yeah, it's hard sometimes because you feel like you owe that person something and you don't. And it's really funny because if you go into my reels, there is a man ranting about that, and I gave him a high amen.
So on how you owe in the comment section of my post.
Yeah, like you owe no one anything. And
Right.
he uses an expletive when he says that.
Right.
And he's I believe he's in therapy or something. And I just loved his candor. I loved everything about the way he shouted it out. And it's so true.
Right.
If these people do not pay your bills, move on.
Right.
And if they do, have a conversation. Just stop, because it's infiltrating everyone. It's so exhausting. And I think people
Honestly,
in the paranormal
everywhere.
understand this a little bit better than others who are just perhaps new to it, that this kind of energy does draw a target on you. So
it does. And I also believe in synchronicities. I had 2 back-to-back conversations, literally not expecting it.
So crazy.
Just going into regular conversations. And then all of a sudden, I get another conversation going, wow, and I'm just kind of like, oh my God. Synchronicities are kind of cool. When they happen, you really have to pay attention to the details and address them.
Yes.
Because they're there for a reason.
They're guiding.
Yeah. And as I started just, looking through messages that were sent to me today, and just looking at comments on posts, and looking at just, I had a few minutes having, my afternoon latte, a little bit right there. Yeah. And I just kind of skimmed through, right? And it's like, oh God, there seems to be a lot of this going around. I think people don't value themselves enough, or they're just, I always say I'm a service to self person. I put a lot of time into assisting other people for years and years. And we both do that. And you leave yourself behind somehow. You want to do for those people that you love. You want to do for people in the workplace. You want to do with people on many different levels. And I agree with this comment right here. Oh, hold on. Right here too.
No, there's a saying in Italian that sounds so much prettier in Italian. When you spit in the air, it lands on your face. So be careful what you're throwing up there. And it just sounds so pretty in Italian when they say it. But it was something that, if you were growing up Italian, your mom said, probably anybody European, I imagine the Greeks would be the same way. That with that comment, because of the belief in energy, and that's so strong in both Greece and Italy.
Right.
Yeah, you have to watch what you put out there, and your thoughts can be weapons if you're not careful as well. It took me a long time, and I'm still learning, and I'm still struggling, but I learned that the word no is healthier for me. And I learned that if I don't want to do something, I should not do it.
Well, you're really empathic too.
Yeah, it's hard.
That don't pee in the wind. Yeah, David.
Yes, it's the same kind of idea. It's the same idea. Yes, the same idea. Don't piss in the wind. Yes.
But when you're really empathic, and there are a lot of times people in the field, if you're really gifted, empathy is a really big one. So it affects you differently. So being empathic, maybe, because I'm empathic, but not to the degree that you are. And I've been able to sort of chuck it in the back and just put the switch off for a little bit. But it's really hard for some people. How is that for you? Hey, Wayne.
For me, well,
I do.
Michelle knows.
But
it's hell, because
listening who may be experiencing it and don't realize they're empathic.
Absolutely. It's hard to say no, because you feel the anguish of them fearing you saying no. So you feel even worse to say no. So you automatically go into what I call, like a night mode, KNIGHT, savior mode, where you go in and you're like, oh, hi, Wayne, hi, Tamara, I can take care of them. It's only going to take me a few minutes. I can do this for them, and it's going to make them really happy. And then it burns me out.
Right.
You have to recharge. And I posted, I lost it today. I posted, never lie to someone who is the Wonder Woman equivalent of an empath or a medium. And do not talk about someone who is the Superman equivalent of a remote viewer. People will take advantage of empaths, and that's the first thing you have to decide with the people in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Is it because they truly need you, or is it because they know that you'll do it? And that's where you start to
Mm-hmm.
realize how to close it off, because I think the people that hurt empaths the most are the people closest to them. It's never a stranger. You actually will be more willing to help a stranger because you don't really know them, and you're trying not to pick up anything because you don't know what you'll pick up, but you have to shield yourself.
And
You have to
do you
shield
feel it's
yourself,
been
and you
worse
have
over
to
the
take care
last?
of yourself. Sorry?
Sorry, do you feel it's been worse for you over the last couple of years with everything that's been going
Yes,
on? Maybe people are homebound, or maybe people are
a million
just frustrated. I
percent.
find that the whole freaking world is
Everybody's
on a
angry.
frustration level. Yes.
Everybody's so angry.
Yes.
And, for me, what I had to do, and Michelle knows this was a big problem for me when all this stuff
Mhm.
first happened.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
couldn't drop the news app, and I
Oh
did.
my gosh.
That one's a big
Oh my
one.
gosh, it's true. I was starting to
Yeah,
think she was needing an intervention.
I did.
I was sort
I
of glad
did.
when you went over to TikTok. It's
Oh my God. I'm like,
a little
TikTok makes me
lighter.
laugh.
Yeah.
I only look at funny videos. I only look at grandma videos and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I'm very careful what I pick and
Yeah.
choose.
Right.
And I think you have to put your place and put yourself first. It's not selfish. Once we get past
Mhm.
that point, we'll be better for it. People who know you're highly empathic,
Mhm.
sometimes they may not realize it, but I think they do. They will use it against you.
And
And
that's not right,
but
because
it's true.
they lean
Yeah.
on it when they need it in hopes of you being compassionate, let's say, over a situation, and then when then, but it's like that double-edged sword too,
Oh,
you
you
know.
have all kinds of problems when you're strong empath. You also have transference when you're helping someone. That person, if they're attracted to you, all of a sudden thinks you're attracted to them, but you're not.
Exactly.
It's just who you are. You're just
Right.
kind, and they're not used to that, and they take it as flirting, and you're not flirting.
Hmm.
That's just who you are. And if they took a
Hmm.
moment to see that, I think empaths have that problem just as psychiatrists and psychologists and psychotherapists do.
Hmm.
You're the one healing, right?
Hmm.
You're doing a type of healing.
Hmm.
And especially, I've noticed, especially if you connect a man, from my experience, with their long past mother, oh
Hmm.
my God, like it just, I don't do readings anymore because
Hmm.
they read differently. Um,
Hmm.
Empaths right now, I think, are going through hell, and tonight is a super moon. So shield
Oh,
yourself, ground,
yeah, it's like
ground, ground, ground,
double
ground.
whammy. Yeah.
Yeah. Every
Yeah.
time I think I've got it,
Hmm.
I lose it.
So let's
Like
talk
I
about the
lose
grounding
myself.
then. Just
Ground
because
is
it's easy for me
huge.
to talk about how I do things, I'm
Well, I
I'm
do your grounding, so
yeah, like I'm
it's the
different
same
than you.
thing.
You're a really hardcore empath. So what talk about the grounding for you and how it
Oh,
works and why you would recommend it.
if I don't ground,
Hmm.
I think that I'd become oppressed and I'd be the target very
I agree with you. I
very
agree with
easily, with
you.
especially with the work that we do. I
Yeah.
think that if I didn't ground, we couldn't work together. I'd put us both in danger, including our
Hmm.
families. Um, Grounding for me feels doesn't make me feel untouchable, but it makes me feel safe. And
Right.
I know that with the team that we work with
Hmm.
and us working together, the
Hmm.
connection that we have is bar none.
Hmm. I agree.
It's I feel safe.
Hmm.
That's all I can say. If you don't ground, I feel like Teflon. You know, when you put an egg in a Teflon pan and it
Hmm.
doesn't stick, that's how it feels for me when I'm grounding. I feel like anything that comes at me just bounces back to that person. And
Right.
it's the grounding that we do
Hmm.
with the mirrors, which is the reason why. It's
Right. The
that
reflection
particular, it's
frequency.
Michelle's personal grounding
Yeah.
that she created that allows this.
Hey,
And
boo.
I
Yeah.
always laugh at, when things are thrown at me, I just laugh because I know they're there, but they don't penetrate anything
Hmm.
around me because I'm
It doesn't
protected.
make it that less hurtful, though.
No, it hurts a
You know what I'm
lot.
saying?
The emotional part doesn't go away, especially when you
Mm.
know someone's using you or lying to you. It's really hard being an empath because everybody white lies, but when
Mhm.
you're a strong empath, you can see through that and it becomes personal.
Mhm.
And it's like, I'm so sensitive and so compassionate. Why would you lie to me? I would
Mhm.
much rather you tell me the truth so I could
Maybe
work through this
maybe
with you.
because you're really sensitive. Have you looked at it that way?
No.
No, I just want the aggressive shit right there. No, but seriously,
No,
like
no,
maybe
no. There's a way to tell people
there
something,
is.
but
There's a diplomatic way. You don't have to be
yes.
an
No.
asshat about it. Right, for sure.
No. And if you know that other person and you're really close to that person, like I would never take anything you say to me to that kind of extent. Like you're very gentle, and I know that anything that comes from you is for my own good and for benefit of me. It's
Yeah,
not.
yeah, but I'm also a bit wordy. Like I know how to word things. I don't ever like
Yeah,
hurting
and very
people unless you're an
protective.
asshole.
She's very
Oh yeah.
protective.
Yeah, very careful about how I put things. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I'm careful when someone is gentle. I would never hurt them. And I think being an empath, sometimes it's hard to be, and I'm telling people to be honest with me. Sometimes it's hard to be honest because it's going to hurt them and you can feel it coming.
Yeah,
But
but
you just have to be
sometimes
careful how you say it.
exactly, because if you
Yeah.
want, I for one, I have a pretty thick skin. I want to know. I want people to be honest with me. If I'm being an asshole, tell me. If
You do.
I'm,
You're good
if I,
that way. Yeah.
yeah, because it's just like I'm very staunch. Like I have a sense of humor, but I'm very staunch. So sometimes I'll say something, and people are like, "Well, that was sort of rude because of my tone." I mean,
They
what's
don't
worse
know, but they
if you
don't know
have no
you.
tone because it's through no exactly people who know me know that I'm not going to do that, right? But
No.
if you don't, or if you're in an email or a message, there is no tone in there.
There's
There's
no
no
tone in text messages. The
and
best way
in
to
emails. That's
ruin a
hard.
relationship is a text
Yeah,
message.
it's hard. It's hard.
Seriously.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
exactly.
crazy.
Yeah,
But an empath can read your freaking tone, so be careful.
it's true. It's true.
An empath can read the
I can
tone.
read things like that in emails. You
Yeah.
can read all kinds just by looking at the words and picking up on the energy. It just get really difficult, you know. I'm going to go through some of the comments that I was putting up just so
Yeah.
for the
Hi,
people who are
Tamara.
listening. So let me come in and say, okay, let's start off over here. We'll start off. You can read
Oh,
them all.
hi, Chris. Thoughts and emotions will boomerang. Absolutely.
There we go.
Yeah. Oh, Tamara. Being empathic can make you sick physically. Ill,
Absolutely.
which you'll see sometimes I'm not here and Michelle say she's under the weather. It's literally because I'm drowning in something.
Right.
Chris
Yeah.
says empaths must ground. There is no other way to live but
Yeah,
ground when you're
exactly.
empathic.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been very difficult for empaths. These past few years have been hard because everybody's angry. So when you're an empath and you walk into it, you feel like you're being shot at with
It's
bullets.
true.
That's what it feels like.
It's true.
Yeah, Tamara values self and shield self before you help others.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like when you get on a plane and the air flight attendants say,
Yeah,
put the mask on first, then take care of someone or you can't help them.
exactly.
Same
Yeah,
thing as an
it's a good
empath.
analogy. Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
whatever I can use. But Zach, man, hi, Zach. Grounding for me is something I'm still working on. It's high energy environment, like my workplace, sorry. That is a constant challenge for me. If you
Workplace
got
is
so
hard.
bad that I ended up in the hospital weeks ago, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
terrible.
grounding is something that everybody works on every day.
Mhm.
It's always work. When you're protecting your energy, you're always working on it. If you're not, that means you're not doing it.
This one's on me.
Hi, Wayne. Somebody has their big boy pants on today, doesn't he?
It's when I'm feeling a little aggressive. It's like, yeah.
That's abnormal.
That's me saying that. Yeah. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Say it. I say it in kindness. Like, someone's got their big boy pants on today, doesn't
Again,
he?
you have to know who's talking to you before you decide you're interpreting the way you would speak. That's all I'm saying. Tamara says empaths need to clean energy constantly. Even going shopping or in crowds are hard to deal with and need to ground first. That's why I don't Christmas shop in the stores. I online shop. Chris
Mhm.
says it's the tone, not so much in the words. But
Mhm.
can't read tone in words unless you're empathic.
Mm-hmm. No,
Okay.
I agree.
I can't see that. Oh my
Oh,
God.
okay. It says God talks to me in an audible voice. It's happened at least one time, and he saved my life on the freeway once.
Awesome.
People have phenomenal experiences like that.
Yeah,
I think it's
absolutely. Ooh, I love that. Ooh, it's almost spooky season. It's almost Spooktober. How can I learn to levitate small objects? I can learn anything. Please give me a starting point.
Starting point would
Wow.
be I would definitely first off start researching different levels of being able to do that. I think if you can learn a lot of places, believe it or not, spiritualist churches are really good at teaching you your abilities and things like that.
Yeah.
And I know in Lilydale, and we're there, you know, you are still in the season over there. If you're close to it, it's up in upstate. I think is it Pennsylvania or upstate New York. It's right in and around the area, but they often have little classes where they'll teach you how to bend spoons. You can also practice with your mind with candles. If you light a candle and you just sit back and you concentrate on blowing the candle out with your mind, just watching it, just snuffing it out, um, you're training your mind how to physically do things. Then you can probably put, oh, South Dakota, yeah, you're a bit down there, but then you could probably put something on a table like a coin and just be able to sit there and train your mind to move it. I personally think that would be a great way to start. Just disciplining yourself. Bubbles, any suggestions?
That's a lot of grounding and a
Mm.
lot of meditation. I really feel, because I know someone who can do this, and he puts himself at a whole other frequency before he does this. And he is naturally gifted, but he worked on the moving objects.
Mm.
He works with Fae, so his life is
That's a whole
chaotic.
it's a whole different
Yeah, they're like little
level.
baby poltergeists.
That's true. They are nasty little things.
Yeah.
Lilydale is beautiful, Chris. I've been a
Yes.
few times. I have friends who live there.
I'd like to go.
It's quite an experience. I'll tell you that. Quite an experience.
I'm just not ready to
Engage.
cross a border.
Engage, yeah.
No. Everybody coming off a plane has an illness right now. That's all I'm saying.
Lilydale could drive over. That
Yeah.
helps. But it's the largest spiritual community in the world, allegedly, and
It's
unfortunately,
beautiful.
it is packed. Now, I don't know how things are there now. Like, maybe there aren't as many people there. But then again,
Maybe
with
next
your
year.
first summer open, oh, I've been a
Yeah.
few times. I love it.
No,
Yes.
but maybe next year. This year's so crazy for both of us. Maybe
Oh,
next year. Wayne says, I have had the voices in my head, not uncommon for a writer, but when the universe speaks to me, the voice is very much unique and the message is always intense. When it's like that, Wayne, don't you find it odd that people don't follow it?
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah,
Because when it's that intense, why aren't we listening?
that's true.
Oh,
That's
Boo,
true. You
thanks
would
for
think
the
some
tip.
people
I
are.
taught
You
myself to
learn.
juggle and ride a
Kudos
unicycle
to
at
you.
age 57.
Awesome.
Woohoo!
Fantastic.
Love it.
I love it also.
Love it. Yeah. I don't believe in age.
Oh, come on your show. Okay. You learn to levitate stuff. You can definitely come in on one of our Q&As and spend some time with us and show us how it's done. I love it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wow. It's rare. The fairies live in the gray zone. Sorry.
I know. It's like
No, I'm laughing because your show with Joe is
shows
called
the
Gray
grace.
Zone.
Like,
And it's
where's
just like,
Mary? Where is it?
they
Where
do
is it?
not live in a right and wrong world. Too bad us humans don't live
I'm telling you
in
though, we
somewhat
have
of a
guests.
gray zone when we're judging others.
It's true. We have guests coming on the 31st, and we'll announce that as we get closer. And in their book, they mention the Fae. They have a phenomenal theories about that. Bubble, I started reading that book. You got to read that book. I'm just saying.
I will. And I did watch
It's
the episode where I'm not going to mention it, where
yes,
he has the elemental. I actually
yes,
saw that episode and I had, like, when it happened,
yeah. See,
goosebumps everywhere.
it is an amazing book, and
Yeah.
there are two of them coming on. Both the authors. I've not been able to put it down, and that doesn't happen for me super often. I kind of went, man,
I'll have to
this
do
is
that.
it's a different twist on things. I'm kind of like, It's already stuff I knew, but
Yeah.
it's like they put it all together, and it's just like, well, okay. So anyway, it's definitely like super, super interesting.
Oh, Chris
Um,
blows out light bulbs and screws up electric. I can so relate. I am on my second toaster oven in
it's true.
just
It's not
over
even
a
a year old.
year. And before that, it was less than a year. And I
Okay.
don't buy cheap appliances. I'm
No.
not happy. I've been through 3 hair dryers in the last 4 years.
There we go. There we go.
2 of them very expensive.
Yeah.
And
It's a
my
costly
husband
little
always
issue.
says, "You're blowing things out. Stop touching them."
Better than you.
Yes, it's very
The happiest
easy.
thing,
I
toaster
can't
ovens,
help
I'd
it.
say.
Toaster ovens,
I know.
mixers, telephones. Oh, for the
Mhm.
love of God,
It
honestly.
just goes on and on like
Oh,
a
it's
vicious
terrible.
cycle.
No, I swear I should have my own section for the recyclable stuff at the dump. But Wayne says, always, but sometimes there's nothing to follow. It's simply confirming my thoughts or explaining why something can or cannot be. It's almost blunt and is neither male or female in
That's
origin.
interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks,
You
dude.
guys are adorable. Oh, thank you.
Thanks. Tamara.
Nature spirits and elements are very unpredictable. Oof, wait
I
for that
agree.
show. Yeah.
I agree. Yes, I agree. There's so much. We love it when you guys partake because
Oh,
there's so much
absolutely.
we could talk about. I think that awareness is something that needs to also be touched on. But before that, was Adriana.
Adriana, yes. I'm saying yes. Is
Yes.
that why I kill off all my phones
Yes.
before the renewals? Yes. My problem is I don't even get to the year point on things.
No, it's the first thing
And
I said to her. How old is that? It's not even a year, is it?
you remember because remember I ordered it and I didn't remember buying it? That's the one.
So you know it's bad when you order it, and you don't even remember because you did it in the last
Some
one.
people eat when they take sleeping pills. I shop. And it's like, oh, there's no deliveries today. And John's like, no, I'm checking anyways. And blah, blah, boom. There it is. There's a box at the door.
It's like a premonition. No, you know.
Oh, yeah. I used to have the same electrical issues, but years of meditation helps, Amelia. I have been meditating for years.
Yeah.
And I am that person that will walk in a grocery store and every door I touch the metal, I shock myself,
me too.
including the
shopping
yeah,
carts.
right? Yeah.
know,
I'm just
everything.
like, I'm like, oh my God. And you see it too. And it's like, really?
I know.
So yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about awareness because we're working our way over to the videos, guys. Okay. So I want to talk about awareness because sometimes people are, your life is busy. I get it. Sometimes you have people working 2 jobs, you have people, you're running your kids around, you're working, you come home, you make dinner. It's like a cycle, and a cycle that keeps repeating itself. So if something slightly obscure happens in the day, you don't always catch it. The example I tend to use is if you leave a glass on the table, you take off, you go to work, you come back, the glass is moved. Will you be aware enough to say, oh, that glass is moved? Or will you say to yourself, that's right, I forgot to put that away today? And I say that because sometimes you have all these little things that are happening around you. And this is how things start. We're talking a lot about stress and stuff. Psychokinesis, baby. You are basically potentially projecting energy. There's so many situations out there, talking to various researchers that we've assisted or who have been in locations saying we just couldn't find anything. Some people call it poltergeist activity, and a lot of times it's self-projected energy. And if you're not finding anything, then you have to go to the obvious. So stress is a big one for projecting energy. So as things start happening, are you aware enough to say, am I doing this? I don't feel anything around here. I don't feel anything around me, because like it or not, you are psychic. Whether you use the ability, whether you're aware of the ability, when you get those butterflies in your stomach, the hair on the back of your neck, that's sort of your body telling you there's something just not right in your space here, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do to slow down enough to catch what's going on? And as we slowly start segueing over to these videos, are these people who are projecting? Are these people who are?
Can I tell you a story? Just happened.
Yes.
Just happened.
When? Just now?
I think it was yesterday or Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
So I have a cup like this for my water that's half the size.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm putting a metal straw in it. I hate paper, just saying. And I fill it up with water. I put it on the island. Michelle knows, she's been to my house. I walked from my island to my laundry room to put something in the machine and just hit start. I had it all set up. I came back to the island and the water was empty. And I'm like, no, I looked at the clock first because I started to freak out a little bit. I looked at the clock to see if I lost time.
Good one.
First thing I did was,
There you go.
I walked to the laundry room, came back. It's still like a minute past. That's all. And I'm like, I know I didn't drink it. I took one sip. That's one long ass sip.
And was there anybody else home?
No.
And has Versace been able to like find a way in his old senior years to climb up on the island? Somehow suck water out of a straw?
He's like 10 inches high. No, he hasn't mastered using a straw. He's 14 and we're so disappointed. But yeah, it was just like,
right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Obviously somebody wants my attention. It was like one of those moments. And I had to stop and think of what was I doing when I did that, because you think you're oblivious, but if you go back,
did you really put water in there? Did you second guess?
I did, because I did drink some. I was dying of thirst. I ran down the stairs. I was dying of thirst. I'm like, I have to put this in there. I have to get this going. Washing machines take forever right now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So anyways, that happened, but that was it. So I thought that would be interesting to share. I'm just like, really? That's one long
that shit out when we tap in, but but
we'll have to check that tomorrow. But it is interesting. I didn't feel threatened. I just felt like, I honestly felt like it was my brother playing a trick, but I didn't want to just dismiss it either. Because I'm like, what did I do?
That's not a projection thing. Like, you can't. I don't know that you could just actually get away with doing something like that. But
no, you would knock it over, but you couldn't drink it.
And I find that when you're preoccupied or you're stressed out, there are things that actually look for those attributes and they take it as a way to slip in. And then you think to yourself, since that happened, how have things been for you? Are they like topsy-turvy? Are you feeling more aggressive? Are you feeling, because those are the kind of attributes that you look for if you've got something, if you've been infiltrated, as I say.
Mm-hmm. No, I was fine. That's why I was okay. But that's just because I know to look for those things. Not everybody does.
No,
so it's good that you brought it up. No, a lot of people don't know that. Pay attention to the way you're behaving, and that could be a sign of an attachment. But then again, it could be nothing. David. It's like you could have just drank it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I know if I say something, someone in this house is gonna say, well, you probably drank it and you forgot. No, I didn't, because I was running to get the washing machine, because when you only have so much time to open the door again.
Right.
And it's different. I'll never forget the first thing I did was look at the clock, because I'm like, oh God, no, because I just watched your show too. And I'm like, oh God, no.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah, I think when you work in the field, you tend to have a little bit, you're trained to look for certain things also.
You're also a bigger target.
Yeah, well, especially when you're, when you're eliminating certain things. All right, so let's go on to.
Oh, hi, Michael Kennedy.
Hey, Michael.
Good evening, Michelle and Amelia. I've been working on outer body experiences and meditation, also CES, though I haven't.
CE5, yeah.
CE5. Sorry, it looks like an S to me. My screen is so small. Though I haven't had any luck, I keep practicing. I have some issues that keep me from accomplishing these practices. Do you find, Michael, that you're losing any time? I'm just curious, because maybe it is happening and you just don't know it.
Without
I hear that's really successful for people.
And when it comes to CE5, I find they're really easy to do. I think two of my more substantial experiences, you don't think about it, you just kind of telepathically put it out there. And when I think back now, early days, like in this house, when experience started happening, I was, let's say, looking over the river and saying, where are you? I come home that night and I'm just hunkering down. A big, crazy ass light beam comes through the window, hits the freaking mirror, bounces out. And I'm like,
Back out.
the
Yeah.
heck was that now? I'm
Yeah.
wide awake when I saw this. So I think people will say, no, you should meditate before attempting a CE5. And for those of you who don't know what a CE5 is, it's Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. It is a movement that's been started by Dr. Stephen Greer. However, it is stuff that you can do on your own. I think the meditation comes to clearing your mind, grounding your energy, focusing. I think it's really about the focus, about putting the intention out. And people are having amazing luck with this all
He
over the
tells you
world.
how as well on his website. I think it's for a
He
small fee.
does.
I'm not going to lie,
Yeah.
because that's him. But yeah,
it comes down to be careful what you wish for, because not everybody is ready for that sort of thing. But I know. Come on now. Come on now. I know.
Although I have to say, I always say no, 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 no. And looking at some of the research that you've put on and some videos that I've been looking at and sharing,
Mhm.
I'm starting to think that I have seen this kind of stuff a lot over my lifetime and dismissed it as,
I've
remember
never
when we
had
used
an
to,
extraterrestrial experience.
No.
I am not an abductee. I'm like,
No.
yeah, you are.
I don't know about abductee. All
Well, I
I'm,
say,
all I'm admitting
abductee
to
is
is
the wrong
seeing the
word.
lights in the sky.
Okay, abductee is the wrong word. An experiencer.
Thank you.
Okay, I like that too. I like the word experiencer.
I can breathe again.
Yeah.
Breathe again.
Yeah.
Now, remember when our day, oh my God, we're not old, but remember when we used to go to the clubs and they'd have those spotlights in the sky? When I'm seeing formations, I'm going, oh, those weren't spotlights
No.
in the skies. And it clicked when you told me about that experience on a highway that's between both of us. And I went, wait a minute. I was driving along Mississauga seeing this, and I could have sworn it was superstars. And then John tells me, no, it's not there.
They're moving.
No, the club wasn't there. I thought it was on that side. And he goes, no, Amelia, it's on that side when you're coming from Toronto, not from Hamilton.
See, that's interesting. That's interesting.
That kind of stuff is like freaking me out now, because I'm seeing these videos going, oh my God, this is how many times you think it's a falling star or a shooting star. And then you go, wait, it's movement. It's just not normal, but you dismiss it. It's scary.
It can be scary. Missing time is scary. I think if you're nervous about it, you have a lot of people who talk about these horrific experiences. I mean, first off, okay, yeah, it's creepy when something comes into your room and beams you up or beams you out of a car, things like that. However, this has probably been happening to you through lineage, maybe lifetimes, maybe the time, you're a baby. You're not allowed to remember anything, maybe because you're not ready, maybe because of how you're acting. If you're acting like a raging lunatic when you're on the ship, you're probably they're not going to let you remember that. They could also be scrubbing you to protect you also from
That's
those.
a different way of looking at it. Yeah,
it is, from look at how many MELAB people are people have been, military abductions, for example.
They have
a lot of times they do that to try to figure out, what did you experience over there? I guess they got to figure it out somehow, right? But
yeah,
the thing is that could be another reason why you're being scrubbed. So if you're going to go on there and fight for your life, like it's the only second you have, and you've got these things like, oh, settle the hell down. I like Preston Dennett's outlook on everything. I like all the stories he posts. They are really positive. I don't feel a threat from any of this at all. Once you get the gist of it and you're like, you know what, I'm okay with this, and you start to relax, the experience is completely different. But the missing time thing is kind of wiggy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I haven't had that other than the one time, but that was because I was doing, that was a whole other experience. That was because I was doing automatic writing. I lost over 4 hours, about 4.5 hours.
Right.
Scariest thing ever. Never did it again.
Right. It is
Yeah.
hard.
We love Preston and Dolly. Yes, we
We
do.
do. Oh yeah. They're Preston's been on a few times. Dolly's been on a couple of times.
Just recently too, the two of them together.
Yeah, absolutely. Preston's coming back. I know that too. And
Yes.
Dolly might kind of tune in and partake in a Q&A sometime. It might be a
Cool.
lot of fun. I think she gets really frustrated. She sees, some of the guests that come on and go, that's just inaccurate. I'm like, oh, you want to come on and just like accurate that stuff up? She goes, yeah, I'll join you guys. That'll be fun. So it'd be a lot of fun. Okay, Tamara.
Tamara, the problem with being sensitive, psychic, you are the light in the swamp. So you see all kinds of things across the board, from paranormal, cryptic, aliens, and the list goes on as you develop your gifts.
That's true.
And change. Yeah, you evolve through every experience.
You do.
Adrian says, yep, had those. Last one recently, arrived back with heart pounding in a fight or flight mode, but I was not afraid. I'm so sorry. I find it interesting that you choose an owl for your profile pic, though. I mean, just
I know.
Yeah.
But there's certain foods too that you have. That whole, fight or flight thing, is actually suppressed in us. So when you are, a lot of it has to do with the foods that you eat, believe it or not. So where we should be feeling and sensing that something isn't right in our environment, it's almost like we're being dumbed up a little bit by what's put in the food. It's almost like they don't want you to know that, they don't want you to use your senses. So sometimes you end up in a lot of trouble, whether it's something supernatural or whether it's just something instinctive, like that. This is all built into us naturally. And somehow more people like, I never saw it coming. I never felt it coming. You don't have to be psychic for that. Believe me, you do not. There we go.
Okay. It just says Amelia received Spirit of the Owl at age 10. Beautiful.
Very nice. Very nice. So, okay, we're going to jump in and have a little fun right now. So there's a bunch of you guys on Facebook, on our group page. Amelia will guide you through. There's how many videos out there?
Oh, crap.
Okay, so we don't know exactly, but Amelia will maybe just start from the top and work your way down, since everybody's up close to the show stream.
Let me just return Mr. Bobby Brown's text message. I'm just going to tell him I'm on air.
Terrible, yeah. Terrible.
Sorry. No, because I never know if it's work with him. So anyways, yeah. Okay. I have to go on Facebook.
Yeah, go on the page.
I hate the way they changed everything.
We actually got a lot of really good feedback from having some of these videos on the last time. And we thought, you know what, it might be kind of fun to see what everybody's perception is, because we all can look at one video and come up with different things like, well, we did see that, or no, that's fake. But if you think it's fake, I'd like to know why you think it's fake.
Yeah, there's a few that said it right away. And I think that sometimes we're so quick to just cut someone's off. And there's this one, I don't think we talked about it though. Is it okay?
Yes. Yeah.
The one where the young lady is in the cafeteria.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
I was really surprised that somebody wrote fake, and it wasn't.
Right.
It was really shocking to me. I'm going to end up with sound. Let me try and take the sound off, because
YouTube doesn't allow us to play a lot. They all have background music, and it's really hard to mute it here on the soundboard, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, and they're not our videos, so we don't want to do anything without permission. But that's why we say go and watch it, and we'll pop off what it is.
Yeah, it's the one. This video is literally right after our post.
So
with the relic
explain to those who are listening and aren't watching what the video essentially is.
This video is a young woman who's in a cafeteria at work late at night. So she's alone. There's no one else in there. And of course, it's the camera within their building that's filming all of this. And she ends up getting knocked out. And someone wrote fake right away. And I'm like, this is
why would you think it's fake? That's a curiosity.
I don't know what country she's from, because I can't even read her name. I was really surprised that a lot of people watched it and didn't say anything, which leads me to believe they're afraid to say that they believe it. because they didn't leave a comment, and that's not normal on our Facebook page.
Right.
But what happens is all of a sudden a chair moves. She's on her phone, so she's oblivious to everything around you, which is something you should never do, ladies, when you're by yourself. Just saying, speaking from criminal mode. And she's like this, just all of a sudden the chair moves. She gets tossed.
Right.
And when she's tossed and she's out cold, how can this be fake? Tables are rolling. Tables. I don't know if you've ever lifted a table in a cafeteria. Not a play date.
Yeah, and it's the security cameras that pick this up.
Yes.
Besides that, right?
Yes. So I'm watching as she's sitting, she's on her phone, her purse is just there. She hears something, the light plays, and the next thing that happens is I believe it's her chair first. I'm just watching it as she's sitting here on her phone going, what is that noise? And she keeps turning around and she calls someone because she's afraid. You can see her calling someone and saying something. We can't hear what she's saying. And all of a sudden, she gets kicked off her chair and the chair in front of her moves. So somebody lifted her and threw her.
Yeah,
and then they're throwing tables. And I'm like, how is this fake? You can't even do this with fishing wire, guys. These are heavy tables. She is knocked out in this. And out cold, and the tables and everything just keeps going. And you see images of something in that screen. There's something
there. Yeah, you can see like that iridescent sort of.
There's a few on this one. There's a gentleman who right after that is on his bookcase. He's looking at a book, and all of a sudden something comes through the front door and lifts him. I can't see that as being fake.
No, that would be really difficult. I remember seeing a very popular television show a few years ago, and it was actually in the haunted forest in Romania. And you could physically see one of the team members being lifted up, and you see him being pulled back in front of the camera. I'm like, there's no way. Even if you were an amazing acrobat, boy, it would take a lot to get yourself up, unless you can jump yourself up and pull the back. Like that's just not cool.
No, I've been pushed down the stairs, and I can tell you, I couldn't throw myself that way.
Right.
When something pushes you in the center of your back, you go like this
you
forward.
Do. Yes.
That is not something you can fake. Your body protrudes from your belly and you're down.
Right.
Who in their right mind throws themselves down the stairs?
Right.
It
was Destination Truth.
Oh, there's
Tamara. And it was actually filmed by the University of Cluj back then. Not a lot of shows were actually filming there at that time. The university, one of the departments at the University of Cluj was basically the ones filming. So you have a university people there, which is kind of cool. Hey, Ron, how's it going?
Hi, Ron. Sorry, I missed you.
It gets a little bit. It gets a little bit funky with that, because you're like, it gets it's just a little bit. It's different, right? So
is it ever? Okay.
No, that's okay. Yeah, that's okay, Tamara. No worries. I don't usually like to just, pop off the names of shows, but I have to say it was really, really interesting to watch that. And when you're seeing some of these videos coming forward, it would be really difficult to fudge them.
I do put one there that I know is fudged, and I'm amazed that people thought it was real. Yeah. But anyways, it's all in. I think a lot of it has to do with your fear when you're watching it too. What you want to believe is real and isn't real.
I know it's a tough one. It's a tough one. The Ghost Adventures actually were in that haunted forest, though, Tamara, because I know when Melissa, Adriana, and I were there, we were literally 3 days behind them.
Yeah. I remember
every place they went, we were like 3 days behind. I'm just like, oh, come on. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And, so I don't know. We didn't have those emotional, like super emotional issues, but it was definitely, it's definitely a place to be reckoned with. She goes, I've been picked up and thrown. It's very scary, and people don't believe you. because people can't get their head around
Even if they see
something.
it, they don't believe you. It's like, really?
Okay, so if you saw something like, here's a question to you guys: if you saw something like that, how would you guys react? Here's Chris. Uh, yeah, yeah.
A skinny parent about her mom getting through across the room. Yeah,
Yeah.
Annie. Sorry, I still call her Andrea. I think I'm the only friend that still calls her
Also
Andrea. Her
Andrea,
friends.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm,
No, it's she talks about it in the second book too. Her mother
mhm.
talks about it. She just writes it.
I don't think it's something people can grasp, that you have this invisible force that is just literally yanking you or
Well,
pushing
with
you.
her, it was demonic.
For
It
sure.
was, yeah.
Yeah, but
Sometimes,
still,
sometimes angry ghosts will throw you.
it can.
Sometimes it's energy. You
You can
know.
project. Believe it or not,
Yes.
if you're angry enough at somebody, you can project energy, and you can throw something across the room, or chuck. Not can you chuck them across the room? No, but you might be able to give them a good shove, a good push. To me, I've heard some researchers, not many, but I heard some researchers say, no, ghosts can't hurt you. I don't know. If they have the capability of opening a door, they could probably have the capability of picking up, let's say, a cup, for example, and winging it across the room. And it would not really be fun being on the receiving end of that.
Yeah.
And Ron
And
is a
says,
researcher as well. I don't believe what
sometimes
I
I
see.
don't believe what I've seen.
Yeah. It's
It
tough.
does do that to you when it's the first time. You're
Yeah,
just like, have I
that's true.
lost my mind? Am I so stressed that I'm just imagining this?
Sure.
Um, I don't know, like that time that we were in that home and I got stuck on the stairs. If I had been by myself, I don't know if I would have realized what happened.
But there's a lot of issues on those stairs too. According to the homeowners, there were a lot of events,
Yeah,
so
that was crazy.
Joe,
I'm accepting my
you ain't going there
invitation.
without me, are you?
One soon, if I go missing,
No,
come
what the
find.
hell?
I hate that you can even control the board. I'm just saying.
I know.
Joe. Then we have that one. I don't think I posted it. I should post it though, because you sent it to me.
Which one is
Um,
that?
the classic of the being going through the
Oh, going through
gate.
the
I think
gate.
everybody has seen that at
Yeah,
one
because
time or
it's
another.
been on some of the popular video TV shows that play YouTube videos and such.
Yes.
That's a tough one. It could be time traveler, could be ET, could be ghost. A Joe would say dimensional bleed through, walking right through the freaking gate. Yeah, whatever, man.
Yeah, I can't share this one.
It could be anything. So did you guys watch that one? People in chat, that's your homework. You're supposed to go watch the videos, and we want you to chime in about it.
Yes, I
There
am
were
going to post one. I'm going to try and post one now. The last one that you sent me, which I think is one of
right.
my favorites. I
Yeah.
can. I'm
See, I have
posting it right
homework
now
too.
and you
Bubble
can
sends it
watch
all
it.
to me. I have to watch them, and I don't watch TikTok.
No,
Right?
I just send her videos.
Watch this. Are we using
Oh,
it?
no
Okay.
way.
So,
Hold
but
on 1 second.
so who
Yeah,
in
it's
chat?
loading right now. So if you go on our Facebook page or you're there, you'll see it. It says real fake, watch the end. It's a very short video.
Right.
And I will, is it okay if I play it?
Wherever it goes. Yeah.
Just so I can talk about it.
Yeah, it's
So
fine.
the video that's on right now, there's a
Yes.
chair moving from the table.
Double whammy. Double whammy.
Poor Michelle. I bet you my videos are better than your videos. I'm just kidding.
You're
I'm
both
just kidding.
tormenting me. Just
We're
saying.
both tormenting her. I'm just kidding. Gianna, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So real or fake, it says watch the end, and there's a chair that moves clearly across the kitchen.
Right.
Now, I remember I have this posted somewhere on our Facebook because I don't know how to work the way they changed everything on Facebook. I don't know how to get to our reels.
Right.
So this chair pulls into the island, into the kitchen. And someone said, oh, that's a fishing wire. And I'm like, wait for it.
Mm-hmm.
It twists and turns and turns and turns and goes into the island. You can't do that with a fishing wire.
No,
Sorry.
you can't. You can't do
Unless
that
you have
with fishing
CGI,
wire.
you can't do that. And that was not CGI. That was a home security system filming that.
And that's what makes it interesting when it gets picked up and it's in the wee hours of the morning, you don't see any activity. I'd want to see what was going on before and what was going on after. The gate ghost, Chris. I don't know.
I'm going to see if I can transfer it there.
Yes.
I just got to get it because our chats are long-winded. Hold on. Okay, I've got it.
No.
I just have to.
What do you mean?
I just have to save it and I will share it on Facebook right now. Thank you, Facebook, for changing everything in my life here.
Right.
Because it wasn't easy enough the first time. And I am posting it right now on our Facebook page. So it's uploading. In the meantime, I'll get the other one as well, because these are really good. Right. This one's been on a bunch of shows, including one of those amazing, incredible videos.
Right.
Because people love to argue this one. They love to say that it's fake. But
okay, so just describe what you're seeing for the people who are watching.
I will. I'm just going to put the other one on at the same time so that I don't have to do this again.
Zachman says, I was having my doubts about the chair until the mist by the door surprised me.
Thank you.
And then Michael says, yeah, wow, the ghostly haze, just wow.
Right.
And Ron says, I would like to know what environment was going on at the time. Like, what was the environment for the haze?
You were asleep at night.
Yeah,
this haze is a home inside. It's a security camera because they were hearing noises and they put this up and just filmed it while they were sleeping.
Right. Wow. Yeah.
See, the haze is probably a spirit.
Yes.
So the ghostly figure passes through the gate. And I can't remember what country this in, because this is a Latin country that this happened. And that's why it was filmed, because they were in shock.
Possibly CGI. So there's a lot that goes on in those freaking southern countries. Like what is it, Chile or Brazil or something, like down there?
I get your possibly CGI. I get it, because they actually talked about that on TV and said that it's impossible because they couldn't get them walking through the gate.
Right.
They tried to redo that. So I'm ready.
Right.
Just saying, I don't post things thinking they're real. I post all kinds of things. And there's the next one that I don't think is real.
Okay. So why don't you describe the next one? Anybody who's on the Outer Realm Facebook page, try to head over to them.
Yes, because it's posted. So there's a television.
We do ask you guys to post your comments even in advance, worst case, right? So that way, if you can't get back to the show tonight, we can at least post it, because you definitely need to look at all the surroundings. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. And that one is only focused on the gate. So it's really difficult. But because of the culture and where it was, see, when you save a video, it doesn't always save all the information from that the people had, the creator used.
Right.
Because it's their information. Now, this young woman's watching TV, and there's several videos on this one. She's watching TV, and all of a sudden, this frame comes off of the fireplace. And she's startled.
Getting my laptop, Janie says, yep. Over there.
Yeah.
We got 50 minutes left.
I posted them all on the...
They're all on the group page. Right.
Yeah, one after the other.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of videos on there. So what I don't believe that photograph, it looks like it was pulled forward. I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
I've had things thrown at me from the wall, and I've had things that just fell.
Right.
Usually the projectile is a lot farther than just, it does look like
it was pulled. Yeah, because I mean, some things can just fall off. You know, if you got something walking by that just not everything goes like haywire across the room. But you're right. When something's being pulled, it even looks different than what it's being.
Why is she videotaping her TV show? It's not even significant. It's just some daytime TV show.
Is it a security camera, or is it really? Or is she taping?
I think it's both. Personally, I think it's both. But if she sees that and hears me, she can contact me. I think it's bull crap. She's videotaping things. Now, the next part where the door is shaking and making noise.
Okay, Tamara's comment, or Jackman said, the second video of the lady with objects moving and lights flickering appears to be scripted to me. So he's saying what you're saying.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I'm having an issue with all the videos that are on here. I think they're all scripted.
Right.
flash warning. Anybody can do that. I have a remote for my lights, so I can show you, like
Right.
really, really light.
Yeah.
Right. Because I'm pressing the wrong one. See that?
Right.
It's
Right.
very easy to do. See,
Right.
very easy to do. So yeah, I do have an issue with that. Here, I will say that where the chairs are moving around in this home, definitely pulled by a wire. They're being pulled by the bottom of the foot, and you can see that. You need to pay attention where the leverage is. And
Okay.
where there's the kitchen part where the cabinet just opens,
Right.
but yet the camera's inside the cabinet all of a sudden, and you see the guy's hand really quickly. Just saying.
Mm.
So yeah, I
So
do
yeah,
post different ones.
Yeah, that's kind of, some of them are,
Cheesy.
well, you say that, and you know what? Some of them could actually be real because you would expect them to be cheesy. So right off the bat, it's like, it's
Yeah, but
ridiculous.
I have a hard time when the cabinet opens and you see the person standing there. Well, why is the camera inside the kitchen cabinet?
Yeah, right.
And
People, if you're going to jimmy things up, you have to be a little bit more creative than that.
I had
Right. Because
posted.
you might just end up in the outer realm being talked about.
Just saying.
Come on.
I had posted,
Okay.
and we have a lot of Q&As.
We do.
I had
People demand it.
I had posted one, and I can't find it, of course, because of this new system on this page, where everything came out of the kitchen and was thrown. And a few people said it was fake. And I can tell you deep down inside, I know that's a poltergeist. I know it.
Right.
There is no way that you would have wires
on abilities telling you that too.
Yeah.
If you're completely green though, and you don't have any of that, you have to say,
how could he get all of that cutlery going in all different directions with wire? Everybody's always saying fishing wire. You can't fish wire this.
No.
This is cutlery going several different directions, and cabinets opening and things coming out of it. This would have to be a like Hollywood studio or Toronto studio inside that they use to film these things, that they have these setups and these little things in order to happen that way.
Yeah.
It would have to be something like that. This guy was petrified, and he dropped his phone. Someone said there was a cut in it. There was no cut. We expanded that to no tomorrow. There was no cut in the video clip.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, because I said, we live with the poltergeist. You can't fake what they do. Yeah, it would be hard because they're very spontaneous. That's for sure. There's no rhyme or reason for the type of activity like that could happen at any given time. It isn't, like some spirits, like the spirits that we've had in the house. They're predictable. You know what they're like. Sometimes they're habitual. They like certain rooms better than other rooms. And when you have a poltergeist, it's just like, ooh, okay, here.
Yeah, you can hear odd noises in that video too. I mean, yes, you can. You hear a growl, and that's why he turned around with his phone, because he's actually having issues in his home. And you're right. Thank you for bringing that up, because I can't put my volume on.
I got growled at in this kitchen once, and literally, like probably about 4 years ago. And I was just in the kitchen. I walked by and I got a growl, and I just turned around and all I said was, "I will deal with you when I'm done." And I just kept walking because I was on a mission to do something. And you know what? The last I heard of it.
No, it's
the mindset.
Yeah, and for me, if that happened to me with my kitchen, I'd be like, "Okay, Mister, you cleaning this crap up?"
Exactly. Yeah. I want your part of the rent today.
Who's cleaning this?
I know. But I think a lot of it is mindset. It really is.
It was just so clear as day for me that
so
that
why
was
do you think
real.
They center around kitchens, is what Chris is saying.
I
think a lot of happy times are spent in kitchens on an average. I think a lot of people gather there. It's a gathering place.
Lorraine and Ed Warren had some photographs in their books of poltergeists that were stacking chairs.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the kitchen. It was the dining room. I think it's wherever you spend your most time, they're going to try and disrupt you in that area.
With poltergeists, absolutely. Look at the Enfield poltergeist. It's just that they do. It was the same thing. Everything, chair stacking.
Love the kitchen. You were probably in it a lot.
There's more to play with, like knives and cutlery, things like that.
Scary.
Like,
but if you see the Enfield haunting, she was inflicted most in her room.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it was centered around
the living room.
She was probably projecting it realistically.
Yes.
Feel bad for people experiencing this activity because it's hard to find someone to help. Well, to find somebody, somebody who knows what they're doing. Yeah. We don't have too many problems with that, but no, I get it. But we help a lot of our colleagues around the world for sure. I mean,
Yep.
we absolutely do.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it just comes with experience and such, a lot of moving parts in the kitchen.
Oh, yes,
Absolutely.
Chris. My
Absolutely.
gosh, right? More to clean up.
You know what video? Did you put the video down of that EB, the alien?
Yeah, all of them. I actually am looking right at it. Which one? The one that
The one
is exposing?
The one that's exposing. If you guys haven't seen it yet, head on over to the page if you're there. Find EBE.
Just scroll down. As soon as you see archived link with Jim Gerard, it's the next one.
Yeah, look at that one because it's very heartfelt. And
I cried like a baby.
I know it's very, very sad.
Yeah.
And if you're into ufology, and if you want to see a gray, this is one that's like, is it debunked or not? I think this is a real deal personally. When people, military says, oh, we don't have any evidence of that. You know what? I call bull crap on that one for sure. There's a lot of whistleblowers that have risked their lives to expose this.
That's who that witness is.
So do you want to describe this video to everybody for the listeners who aren't able to watch?
Yeah.
Head over there. If you guys aren't there tonight and you're just listening, head over to the Outer Realm Facebook page and check it out because it's really powerful. So Amelia, go ahead.
So there's a gentleman that I believe I have to bring it back to the beginning. I believe he exposed his tape from Area 51 because he worked there to the world. And he's actually wearing an alien type costume on his head. And I think that is to perhaps make it feel less real for them. And they change his voice as well. He refuses to speak, but he reveals a footage of an alien being tortured. And it's heartbreaking to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it freaks you out. I cried like a baby when I watched this, and I sent it all 5 parts to Michelle, poor Michelle, because I couldn't believe the stuff that was happening. But his purpose was to expose the existence of the aliens and not compromise any individuals that he worked with. It was just to show, look at this, because he feels it's not fair for them. Mm-hmm. He says others are in danger of exposure. Mm-hmm. And it's so sad because you see this alien in distress and it looks like a gray. Mm-hmm. And you see it in distress and having trouble breathing and how long it took for them to come back to resuscitate. And here they are instilling this fear in the world about what aliens are doing. And they are so much worse here.
Right.
And
Adriana says it's so sad. It's from an unacknowledged documentary on Amazon. Yeah.
Oh, on unacknowledged, or it's unacknowledged?
From unacknowledged.
Okay, because I love this person on TikTok. Their stuff is real. There's nothing there. Yeah. I wish their name would have came up with it. Their stuff is real. I haven't found anything to question on their page yet. Right. I can't watch any of that.
Adriana says that's the name. So many times that these entities live here and have lived here for eons. 100%. Yeah. I completely agree. So here's the name again. It's called Unacknowledged, and it's a documentary that's on Amazon. So go check it out if you guys are Amazon subscribers.
Unacknowledged is Stephen Greer. So is that what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe he's got clips of it too. I think I've seen it, and it's basically it is to maybe raise awareness because this is pretty much public footage now. It is out there and it's being floated around. But again,
it's so sad.
I had a really difficult time, Chris, I've seen grays. It's a crime what they did to them. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know Amelia have had her own, we've worked something ourselves, which involved it. And we were not surprised. Let's just put it that way. When we were asked to intervene and just, check it out. It's all I can really say.
But grateful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think they are, how do you say this delicately? I think sometimes they feel more than many humans. And
Strong empaths.
that's right. And for whatever reason, this is okay, because so much fear, I think, has been instilled into the public with respects to these beings that we just tend to overlook it, and we would just tend to be like, well, that's what we have to do. Look at, I mean, no, reality, people aren't wrong when they say, look what we do to, dogs and cats, and we're testing and blah, 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 or various animals. And it doesn't make it right. It doesn't matter what life form it is. It doesn't make it right how we treat each other, how we treat other life forms on this planet or off this planet. Or I really feel that we all need to come together more as a race, and we really need to start looking at empathy a little bit more, and looking at these beings as they are sentient. We have to evolve. I really think that's what it comes down to. We have to have that awareness, and we have to evolve.
They're so much better than us.
Yeah. Well, I would think.
I love the video after that, which is the two Navy pilots discussing their experience with a TikTok UFO.
Right.
And it's not often that you'll see Navy pilots on camera without trying to disguise themselves.
But is that fairly new since the disclosure? Because now, of course, everybody's on board. We all want to know what the experiences are.
I don't know, to be honest, because it was on that same gentleman. I love his channel.
Right.
I don't know for sure. I know that the one for the British Columbia one, that lady, that's the video right after that.
Right.
She was before. And also she's in Canada, so we're a little bit more lenient with things like this. We're a little bit quicker to believe and listen. I'm not going to lie. It's a little bit different here. But yet she talks about her encounter. Now, the Navy pilots, what freaks me out is how afraid they were, because the TikTok UFO kind of came and stood still while they're moving.
Right.
And they didn't understand what was going on, and they didn't know if they should report it. And then their superiors said, yeah, you absolutely have to report this. But they were afraid because no matter where he went as a pilot, this thing was right next to him or on top of him. And he talks about the fear, and then how all of a sudden he just felt okay with it.
Right.
Oh, what does Michael say? George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell have been working on getting military releases from non-disclosure agreements. They're on the fringe of allowing whistleblowers the legal right to come out. Good.
That would be a good thing. You know how many ufologists and researchers, some have even gone missing from whistleblowing. But I think now, again, with disclosure, all of a sudden everybody's on board where they weren't before. We want information. We want this. We want that. The fear, of course, is the false flag. The false flag, of course, is just raising fear that these beings are here to harm us. And no, we're getting into mainstream media that are not necessarily giving us all the truth. Do you want to get this one?
Sure.
Part 2.
They have been observing things such as they go fast.
Yeah.
To
the gimbal.
Okay. And the TikTok, I keep saying TikTok, TikTok on a daily basis on both the Eastern Seaboard as well as the West Coast. But we are not alone as a nation. Other nations throughout the world have been seeing the same phenomenon. Yes, and in the same day. That's how fast they move.
Yeah, exciting times indeed, Michael.
It is.
Tamara.
Because they also fear the Navy and the government.
I agree with that. I think all along, how many times have we said it? If you got a cell phone now, you can pretty much catch anything. It's not so easy to hide because you've got something to capture the evidence and the images. So you have to beat them, join them, right? Adriana has a question.
Sure. Do you think that it could get dangerous if you disclose an experience? It feels like the military might try to meddle and experiment now that people are more open.
Well, you have the MELAB experience or experiencers. That's military abductions. That's pretty commonplace with a lot of people, some who have been on the show, and told their experiences, some that are up and coming, just in general. You go to ICAR, which is Joe's site, and there's over 60 something thousand people there. Some of them are true experiencers, and you have others who are MELAB. So I think if you disclose an experience, and not that they're all interested in your experiences, I imagine now that they're on board with talking about it, there'll be more people stepping up and coming forward. So there'll be an abundance of people to work with who are more than happy to disclose their experiences and discuss what happened. And I don't think it has to be down behind closed doors so much. I think now you're going to see a lot of things be a little bit more open, and hopefully that can bring some stuff to an end anyway. We can't actually access any of those through the soundboard, Michael.
It's
We can't put them on.
copyright, but
It's
it's also
copyrighted, but
copyright.
we can't click on links in the soundboard. So
No.
anybody who's in chat with you can click on the link, or you can describe what it is that you're seeing, and we can sort of chime in.
That would work.
We're very limited here on the soundboard. We can see 8 different chat rooms, but we can't actually click on links or anything like that, unfortunately.
No, that's it for those types of videos. The rest are haunted places here. But because a lot of people wonder if Canada's haunted, and yes, it is.
It actually is haunted. I'll just read out Tamara's first. The governments are outed with the amount of evidence. That's why they've had disclosure. Yes. And a lady disappearing for 13 minutes. Sounds to me like a time slip, actually.
Yeah.
It sounds like a time slip. There's, Joe and I did a show on this. From her bed next to her husband. Time slip or an abduction, like having an experience.
Yeah, I always ask the question. The first question I ask, which it's more of the way I profile cases, not
right
haunted, but I always ask, why is the camera on? It's the first thing. So
right,
either they've had experiences, or this is a setup. It can go either way. You have to know the situation before you can't judge it. You have to know everything.
It's really
first.
tough. It's really tough.
Yeah.
Okay, Zachman.
After my experiences, I was never threatened, but I believe the local Air Force base in my area was aware that something had transpired. I've seen a military jet chased by 2 objects in the sky over my home. I believe it. You're in Arizona.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it.
And she meant putting a target on people. I think it depends on the person. If you're a person of interest, it might be a little bit different. So Michael says she has multiple losses of time and recorded herself to see what happens. So she set up the camera. I think that's brilliant. I really do. That's brilliant.
I like the video that we have. That is the UAP air base.
Yes, they are.
In Argentina, Project Leche, UAP Base 4. It's a side of a mountain that these transport trucks come in and don't come out of. There's no other side to these. That video is there as well. And that was posted by their own people who shared these videos from Argentina, because there's a huge MUFON group there.
Right. So they caught this truck going into a mountain, down underneath it. And there's a lot of places. Allegedly, Mount Shasta has one of those. There are places, Denver Airport. There's all kinds of them all over the place. All over. Some of them are underground. Some of them are underwater. What you looking at? What is this?
My favorite one. The guy who goes into an ancient grave, and his shirt gets pulled, and he cannot get out of there fast enough.
Try and put it up on your phone for everybody to watch it, though, because we could actually see it.
I wonder, can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
Don't move it.
I'm trying not to move.
Okay, it's starting
over.
Let it
play again?
Yeah, I don't know if it'll play again.
Yeah. Look at him.
So now you see the shirt being pulled up. And people were saying that was fake. I saw that on her page, and there were quite a few people who said that's fake. It's fake. How can that be fake? Do you
They're
think somebody's there
saying
with wire
this was
pulling up
on
at the shirt?
this one. See, 45 views and 2 comments. Come on, 145 views and 2 comments. So this was on Twitter
Right.
originally. I like what Adrian Thoven wrote. Feet don't fail me now.
I know, that's funny.
Because it's like,
But
really?
you know what, guys? Like, realistically, when we're gonna have a Q&A, we'll post a few of these videos because they're popular. We got
Yeah.
really good feedback with them. So when you see them, go in and comment. Like, don't just
I
watch
will
it. Go
I
in
will
and
post
comment.
them in a group next time, in a grouping, because these were just being shared before the
Yeah.
Q&A.
We'll
This
do it
way
for
they're all
Q&A.
together.
Yeah, because we want to know, and we can actually talk about this on the show. It would be a little bit better feedback, you know.
Yeah,
What is
this one here really made me laugh that they even thought it could be fake, because on Twitter there was a whole argument on the paranormal community that they believe that they use this wind machine, and I'm like, really? And how does the shirt get like this with a wind
Okay.
machine? There's no fingerprints, there's nothing. There was
Mhm.
literally something lifting him out, and they said, oh, but I can see. I shared it on Twitter, because Twitter, they're just continual. What do you
Yeah.
say? I see the white tape on his chest when I pause the video. I didn't.
Okay.
I had all of Twitter on it and none of them could find it.
Being pulled is very unnerving. The experience of being pulled
Yeah.
is very unnerving. I could see that being unnerving.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know where you see tape or if that's just a glimpse, because I've watched this video so many times, Ken, and I have to disagree, but I mean, I respect your opinion. I had all the paranormal groups on Twitter just lost with this one. And
Okay.
they said, well, the block is moving. I said, well, it's an ancient grave. Blocks move. The mortar's not still there from 500-600 years ago. Like,
Mhm.
come on. Who are we kidding? That thing's more than 1,000 years old, because I think he's in Ireland. So, yeah.
Okay, hold on. Here we
Here,
go.
note to self: never sit in someone's grave.
Right.
It's disrespectful. What he
Right.
did, laying down there to get that communication, is disrespectful.
But that's a lot of what
Yeah.
happens in research. Sometimes, people will use trigger objects. Sometimes people will do recreations
Yeah.
of an event to try to activate the activity of somebody who may still be there living in that moment. There's a lot of different things that people do. And there's some of it that's not really respectful, and others, it's research. So they're like, well, we're recreating this moment. Like, for example, there have been reports of, let's say, at Gettysburg, where they're doing recreations of a battle. And all of a sudden, people have reported seeing ghostly soldiers running alongside of them. And you're just kind of like, meanwhile, you're having a reenactment. You're not expecting to see somebody standing there, with their gun cock kind of thing. It's just kind of like, wow, okay. So I don't know. It's just it gets really wiggy, because the reenactment wasn't to bring spirits about. It was in the middle of the day. They're reenacting for the tourists, a war reenactment like they do up by your place in the summer. Like, there was this wasn't for ghosts. This
No.
just happened that the ghost came out and was like, here I am. I'm ready to go. Like, still in that
Let's
moment.
go. Yeah. And
Yeah,
it's so disturbing that they do this every year, thinking that
Mhm.
it's something to celebrate, and they don't think about everybody that's left behind and stuck there, because
Yeah,
it becomes an issue for the rest of us that live in this neighborhood afterwards, let me tell you.
right.
I love what Neil Carr says.
Yeah.
Steve Mirahead observed that in poltergeist activity, when objects are displaced, the distance of the movement will be very precise and consistent over the duration of the activity, which is fascinating. Thank you. You
Really,
said it better
that
than I could. I was trying to say, like,
yeah.
it's crazy
This
how it
reminds me of
just
the skull
disperses.
experiment, Neil.
Yes.
The skull experiment. A lot of things happen with the skull. Yeah. Okay. We're just
I'm
going to
going
do
to
station
read this.
ID, and
No,
then
he just reminded
we're
me,
going to address
because
this.
he
Yes.
said a case coffee mug.
Uh-oh. Sponsor time.
Yeah, that vanished and reappeared in another spot. Examining it under a microscope, The composite particles in the porcelain no longer match the other mugs. That is chilling. Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah,
Ooh, I
that's
love it.
crazy.
That
Okay,
is so
sponsor
cool.
time.
Yes, it's
Camaro's
sponsor
got our
time.
traditional little cups ups time.
Yes,
Thank
that was
you, Neil.
interesting yesterday. Uh, so you were listening to The Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano, coming to you live from the beautiful city of New Orleans, pardon me, on 105.3 FM radio. Tonight we've got all of you in our house with us at the table. We're doing a Q&A, which we enjoy more than you know, and we're so glad that you're here to participate in that. If you missed it, don't worry about it. You can stream and listen to our archives in the platform that you normally use. Shout out and thank you to the amazing people at Folgers Coffee for fully sponsoring our show from day one. We love you and we thank you so much. No one loves you more than Michelle and I, even though I say that twice a week. Just another reminder. And a huge thank you to our second amazing sponsor for our intro and outro, to Dr. Snick, the sonic surgeon, Justin Snicker, say that 3 times fast, award-winning composer and musician. You can find his music on Amazon and Bandcamp. You can also stream him on any platform that you normally use. Find him on Facebook and Instagram. He often posts little clips of his music, and you're going to want it for Halloween. Just saying.
That's it. Okay, and in keeping with the paranormal, here we go, people.
Hi, Renee Dykes here. I'm with Paranormal Adventure Events. Also, my team is Tennessee Night Stalker Paranormal Intrigue. And as people know, when you go on ghost hunt, you've got to have the go juice. And what's scarier than the mug that I have right here is not having this right here. I even carry my own K-cup coffee maker with me, a little mini, when I go on ghost hunts around other states. Yeah, that's how dedicated I am to Folgers. Thank you.
I love that.
Commercials, people.
Send
This
them
is what
in.
it's about.
Yeah.
You know, you've got between 2.5 and 3 million people listening. See how she promoted herself and her group, but yet promoted our sponsor. That's what it's about. It sits in the archives forever and it plays live to millions of people. So do it. Commercials, do it. There we go. Nicole, yes. Folgers with a splash of cinnamon. There we go. I
put
love
cinnamon
that.
in everything.
I
I'm like
know.
the
I
old
love
lady
that
from the
enthusiasm.
hot sauce commercial, but I'm with cinnamon. I put it in my yogurt.
There we go.
So Michael Kennedy says, I don't presume to understand the high strangeness we observe, but there is too many examples to ignore. Amen. I'm with you.
I agree with that. I agree with that. So here's a question. I mean, I like to think I am not a skeptical person at all. I'm pretty open-minded. However, I like to cross-reference the crap out of everything. I don't just take something at face value. I want to validate it. Therefore, I want to try to research it, cross-reference, cross-research. So if you see something, you look at some of these videos. Okay, let's say we're going to all be on an imaginary investigation right now. So which video, Bubbles, do you think we can pick apart for an investigation that would be worth exploring out of the ones that we saw tonight?
For me, the guy in the crypt.
Okay, so the guy in the crypt.
Yeah.
Let's say we're all invited in and we're going to investigate this scenario. And one of our researchers, being this guy, is in there and he gets yanked out. What's the first thing that we should start looking for? Bearing in mind his reaction. Now, a reaction can be fudged, but I think I can tell a fudged reaction compared to a legitimate fearful reaction. So
he couldn't get out fast enough. That was the first thing I noticed.
Right. That's what I found as well. I thought it was very spontaneous.
Yeah.
And he seemed very concerned, very scared. That's part of, so I'll wait for you guys to chime in on that one. Like if you're going to investigate something, let's pretend we're investigating this. What are we looking for? And what would you have done differently? But I've been in a lot of really, really old locations, in my travels, older than that. And I had the opportunity, when I was in Egypt, I was down in a crypt, like way, 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 way down. And I think the last thing I personally would have done was want to lay in that spot, as this wasn't something that I felt compelled to do. But, it's hard because your skeptical self says, oh, you don't take it at face value. But how do you investigate something like that? Obviously, you're looking for anything that triggers. Like, Ken had mentioned, okay, I saw tape. What would the tape do? I mean, you'd have to have something pulling on that tape, I imagine. Maybe you can chime in and with that and, and see, like, if you saw that, what would be, he's really technical minded. So I like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't,
Yeah.
I just don't agree, but it doesn't mean I don't respect what he's saying.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. We can all see something and catch
Yeah.
something different. Tamara says,
EMF field, weather, and environment, and I would jump in the grave to see if it would do it to me too. Yeah, I would never do that. For me, the look on his face, because he's there to get a disembodied voice. He's not expecting to be ripped out.
no, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, there we are. Ken's there. The problem for me is my experiences are diminished by the fakers.
Oh, this is Ken's. Okay, well,
Yeah.
we'll get right back to you, Neil. That was up first.
Yeah.
Sorry. It is really difficult. There's too many out there. There's too many people trying to fudge things, and it makes our job as legitimate researchers a lot harder. Okay, we'll get back to this one, then we'll go to Michael.
Okay, Neil says, thank you. I had to condense my comments. Steve Morris, Project Doorway, is doing some game charging research, showing common factors between paranormal and UFO is geographic, electromagnetic anomalies, which fits in with Tamara. Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
You really need to speak with Dolly.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you 100%. There are more connections between UFOs and the paranormal than people would think.
Okay.
You'd be surprised how
take
many.
some shots and share later. Yes.
Okay, that would be
I agree.
Yeah.
I understand your opinion and your comment and your perspective.
Yeah.
But I would imagine this man would probably feel the same way if he heard someone say that he faked this. If you pay attention to I'm not trying to get you to agree with me. I'm just saying I look at his reaction and I look at this in a different way. I look at all of the bricks. I look at everything. If there's a breeze, how that's being lifted. I have expanded the video. You can see fingerprints in his t-shirt pulling him up. That's really hard to fake.
Right.
Unless there was like a green suit, which then a green suit would also cut off part of the video.
That's true.
So
it would.
The only way to know is to expand it on a large screen, which is what I did, and go through it piece by piece. And I also shared it with a bunch of investigators on Twitter without giving my opinion or comment. And I was really impressed how they could not
figure it out
on anything.
It just leaves, I think when you can't debunk something or you can't figure it out, it doesn't mean that it's accurate or it's true. It just means that there's room for further exploration. Yeah. And that's because you can't really say definitively when you're in the paranormal that something is or something isn't. But if there's room there, whenever I would capture something and I would have my peers say, I mean, I've sent some of my stuff off to a friend who used to work with Cambridge University, and they used to go through photos and things like that. They could see with infrared what was an anomaly or what was natural. When it came back to me as, undetermined, I knew, what this means further explanation. That means this could be something. I was excited just about that. Do we want to get to Michael now?
Yes, because I do agree with Michael very much. It's difficult to ascertain the legitimacy of most of these videos because of the way that they are recorded. Absolutely. Especially those kitchen scenes, right?
Yes.
That having been said, there are a plethora of other videos that have been vetted and have backup validations, such as radar, as well as multiple witnesses.
Yeah.
Each individual example must be critiqued and thoroughly investigated. And that's all I'm trying to say. There was a group of them. This is Ireland. They're in a very old grave.
Yes.
And
it's
really hard. It's Ireland. I mean, you just walked in the day. if that was sunshine outside, he'd have the same thing happen to him there.
Yes.
And
yes.
to fake that hand is a big for me. No way.
Yes.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting though. I'm personally definitely interested in seeing what you come up with, Ken, because I'm that pick it to death person, you know.
And you also have to remember, if anybody's learned anything from the Depp Heard case, the more this is saved and replayed, the more the video quality is compromised.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you would have to go back to the original, and expand it.
I agree with that.
Because you don't know what anyone's done to it along the way. This could be an actual legit video and somebody added something to make a mockery out of it to get likes on a TikTok channel.
Digital is really funny too, because it's got pixelation and things like that. When you're looking at a real video or a real photograph from film, let's say, a film negative, boy, you just can't mess with that unless it gets to a computer. This is why a lot of researchers really, like the hardcore, really like going back to film and cassette tapes. And we don't even catch EVBs. Like, we don't even use two sides of a cassette or two sides of a video cassette. We really, I prefer that myself. I like the old Polaroids. I like something that has an image in a negative, because you can't fudge that negative. The only time things start getting fudged, it ends up being, yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Polaroid
I think a lot of people are going back to Polaroid.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Nicole. Oh, ouch. It'd be a tough one.
Yeah.
But I agree wholeheartedly. You just don't know how many hands have been in it. But because when you're dealing with the Bible, you're looking at misinterpretation, because you have a lot of theologians and a lot of people who have translated it, lost in translation, as they say. They've translated it to different languages.
100 times.
That's just it. Eventually things sort of get mixed up in there. It's very, very difficult. Polaroids are awesome. Yes, absolutely. I still have Polaroids like camera, in my investigation kit, which I haven't used in a long time, but it's still there. So film, everything. And, I used to use like 35 millimeter cameras, and
it's hard to get film for a 35 millimeter. I haven't been able to find any, because I do have I have a lot of cameras.
Yeah, no, exactly. And now I use my DSL and that's it, but it's really difficult. And I agree with this as well. In not, just the Bible, for instance, but in many situations, I think it comes down to, when you look at mistranslation, it's like the old story of, you catch a fish, it was this big, but really realistically, you start off like this, but by the time it makes its way, the story gets bigger, 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 and bigger. And a lot of the paranormal stories I find in haunted locations, a lot of them are like that also. Well, this happened to me, and this happened to me, and this happened to me. And you get there, and it's not like maybe people didn't experience those things, but did they really experience those things? I've been to haunted locations that, like, honestly, I expected to deliver, and it's like not even a peep. But that is the nature of the beast when you're doing paranormal investigations. There's never any guarantee that you're going to get any kind of activity. And I'll tell you, some of the places where I least expected to get anything, thinking, it's going to be really benign, I ended up with sounds of phantom furniture moving, phantom footsteps, things that were mind-blowing. Something picking up my recorder, and you can hear something playing with it, yet it's in the exact same spot. Like, things like that. It's just, it goes to show you don't have expectations. Just go and wait for it and see what happens, because places I thought for sure, in some cases, should have delivered, didn't. And places where I figured nothing's ever going to happen here, just blew my mind. That little house in a survey that just, was just like, what? And you go to the big mansion, you're thinking, oh, this place is amazing. All this stuff's going to happen. Meanwhile, you're just like sitting there with your coffee trying to stay awake. It really is like that. You don't know, you don't know. And
during the day, hauntings are always amazing. I agree. I think a lot of times these television shows do it at night because, first of all,
it's effects.
It's effect. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You
And
know,
the
and
little blinky lights look better at night on the
oh,
equipment
it's really
too.
hard to see the blinky lights during the day when you set them up because
Yeah,
some of them
exactly.
believe in having mediums on their teams.
That's a blinky light.
Our own Nicole
I got
Antoinette,
a bubble
who's
light.
here once a week on air, says, I remember going to a haunted location in New York and I didn't capture evidence, but man, did I sense and feel a lot of things. But you can't prove what you feel. It doesn't matter. You know it happened.
Exactly.
You know?
And that's
Yeah.
just, that's another thing. Like, people say, do you have some groups like we use scientific methods, we don't use mediums? First of all, science is very active in researching mediumship, number one, big time. And they have been for years. So is CIA, so has, different branches of government and military. And a lot of people have donated their Alison Dubois donated 5 years of her life. You guys will know her from the TV show Medium. She donated 5 years of her life to scientific research so people could get an understanding of it. And when we're like, we use scientific methods, what scientific methods do you technically use when you're on location doing spirit research? That's not science equipment that you're using. These are kind of like tools of the trade. These are, so I think we have a misconception, and we're misleading when we're saying we use scientific things that you can use. I mean, if you're going out with the Tesla coil, things like that might be a bit different. But there are, well, seriously, you can have many Tesla coils.
Just
That's
a Tesla coil, or you could take me.
See, it's pretty easy. Just bring a bubble coil.
Just buy me a pizza. I'm good.
Cheap labor.
Cheap labor pizza.
But you know what I mean? Like I think it can be misleading. Don't rule out anything. I mean, heck, some people bring their dogs, their pets, to get a reaction because animals have extrasensory abilities, that tend to surpass some people. Even though
I like that, but it scares me.
Well, it scares you because you know what? Spirits,
leave the dog at home.
Entities can attach to animals,
leave the
and
dog
the reason they would, they're still sentient beings, and they cannot speak for themselves.
No,
so
leave
how
the dog
do you know
at home.
your pet is in trouble?
I don't even like the dog on the police force or in the Marines. I'm just saying. I'm going to put it out there. I don't care.
Yeah, it gets really, really hard. So don't rule out working with mediums. Don't rule out doing certain things that can help you. Now, if you're at a public place and you don't care, we're going to investigate this big building, we don't care. But again, what if you're helping a family? You should use all means available to you to help that family. And if you're not prepared to do that, maybe you need to reconsider whether you should be helping that family. Okay, Michael. We as humans can only see and hear a small sliver of a spectrum of energy. This is where our technology has really allowed for discoveries. 100% agree. Thank you. Wait a minute. Nicole thinks you need a pizza.
I always need pizza.
She goes, orders pizza for Amelia.
Amelia makes it.
Amelia makes great pizza.
Thank you. Amelia makes it. Takes no time at all. I keep a sourdough starter in my fridge. A lot of mediums will bring forgotten history to light that have been verified after. You know what I think it is with this whole science thing that they only want the scientific equipment and all this other stuff. I think they're afraid that the medium won't be in line with what they want you to
outdo
see.
The scientific equipment?
Oh, definitely outdo.
Absolutely.
Would be easily validated if it's historical, and it doesn't fit with their agenda.
Right.
Not necessarily the people on the show, but the directors and the producers. They're looking for a certain outcome, and a medium is unpredictable.
I agree. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And you're going to tell it like it is. So,
yeah.
Okay, we want to get Neil's.
Oh, Neil. I like you, Neil. I don't remember seeing you, but we're glad you're here tonight. I've been experiencing something new over the last 2 weeks. After begging whatever it is in the sky to appear, I'm now seeing lights moving strange. It seems to know when I have my phone ready or not. Very cool.
It's strange. It sounds to me, the way it works with ET allegedly is if you put it out there, they will come. You're basically essentially saying, I'm ready. And I think this is part of what they're waiting for. Some people will tell you it's an awakening. and they will deal with people individually. I'm not the least bit surprised about that. That's what I was saying at the beginning of the show when I said, the whole CE5 thing. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure my most traumatic things came out with me saying, okay, I think I'm ready. Where are you? And then things happen almost like immediately. Hello, Steve. How's it going?
Hi.
And what did I miss? It was such a mind blower. Oh, yeah, it'd be a mind
Yeah, no
blower.
kidding, right?
Sure. Okay, and here we go. Nicole. Even outside of TV shows, people leading paranormal teams don't want to be upstaged by a medium, but a medium isn't trying to upstage anyone. They're just providing more pieces to the puzzle. And I agree with that. I do. Again, it comes down to that explore every avenue, because you're not doing anybody any justice. You're not, I mean, if anything, it'll validate your research, and it surely will help the people that you're there to help. And maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to send a spirit or two off if that's something that, again, you're dealing with a family and they would like to see a spirit moved on. Unless you are versed in how to do that, I'm pretty sure you're going to have to rely on your medium friend. Right? So Zach Man says, hey, Amelia, I can come over to your house for pizza. Yeah.
Anytime. Just cross that border.
Yes.
Anytime.
Yeah. A live CE5 would be epic. Oh my gosh. We're filming a documentary right now. I think they're going to actually attempt that.
There you go.
I know. Boom,
Wait till
boom.
that comes out. Oh my God.
So, okay. So before we end up cutting out, because we are nearing the top of the hour, so I'm going to put this out there because we do have somebody looking for stories. I have been approached to work on another television series. I haven't said 100% yes. I haven't said no, but I do know that they will be looking for stories. So they want international stories, hauntings, basically things that are going on. This could be overseas, anywhere. Okay. Maybe you've traveled, much like, Adriana, Melissa, and I, when we was traveled to the haunted forest and things happened and somebody came back. Or, maybe you're just overseas and you are experiencing things, and, they want people to see what happens to the point where you call in someone, or you have called in someone who's helped you. Doesn't have to be me. Doesn't have to, it doesn't have to be anybody like through the show, just somebody that, maybe you have your own paranormal researchers and you're in England. What brought you to that point? So message me at Michelle DeRoche contact at gmail.com. Again, Michelle DeRoche contact at gmail.com. Don't email me at the show. And if you have stories, all I need basically is just a small gist of what you experienced, email, name, because I send it off. I'm not the one who makes those decisions. And that's something that they're looking for, I'm pretty sure now. So if you're hearing it, Michelle DeRoche contact at gmail.com, and all that will get forwarded. And it's not me who's going to contact you and say, hey, you're Nate. It's going to be the production people that are going to do that. Okay, so we've got that out of the way. Amelia, any last thoughts before we finish up?
No, all I have to say is when you see a video, whether it be on TikTok, on social media, or while you're researching, never just say no. Always look into it and never just say, oh my gosh, yes. So really pay attention, break it down from different perspectives.
And don't be so quick to say fake, which is essentially what you're trying to say.
Don't be so quick to say fake, and don't be so quick to say real. Like, really sit at. That's why I posted so many different ones. There were a lot of them I didn't agree with, but
right.
They're out there, but I think we're dismissing the real ones, and it's kind of sad. So,
it is. It is. And if anything, it teaches us how to be more aware. It teaches us how to be, to analyze things, but don't analyze it to the point where, you're just going to start second guessing yourself either. Oh, thanks, Michael. We're always happy when you tune in, but yeah. So with that being said, I have to say it because we are there. It is the end of another amazing episode. Honestly, we love doing the Q&As. And obviously you guys love when we do the Q&As because we get a lot of really amazing feedback. And we've been lucky to be able to do a few, because we've had guests that needed to be moved around, and we could say we do have a waiting list. So we could say, oh, you just go down the waiting list, but we weigh it out and we have a really great time doing it with you guys. Yeah, Nicole, we always love when you join us.
When's
Thank
Nicole
you.
on? Gotta give her a shout out. When's she on?
Oh,
Thank
she
you,
is
Ken.
on Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Eastern. No, Pacific is 3. Is that right, Nicole? 3 p.m. Pacific time.
It's 3 hours difference from her to us.
Oh, so it's 4. See, I don't even know. Let's just go with Eastern time. Nicole's time is Pacific, but Eastern time is 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central time. Okay, it's called Guiding Echoes. Check her out. She's just bubbly and fun, like my bubbles.
Yeah.
So
4 p.m.
I have a bubbly fun
Pacific.
time
There you
too.
go.
See?
Thanks, Nicole. Yeah.
There we go. I love it. There we go. Nice and easy. Now, if you do want to be a guest on the show, or maybe you would like to see a certain guest, or you have a topic, that you'd like to see discussed on said Q&As or anything of that nature, then please contact us at the Outer Realm Contact at gmail.com. Nice and easy, the Outer Realm Contact at gmail.com. Wherever you are watching this, show us some love. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you're on Facebook, follow, nice and easy. And thank you, Neil.
Neil. We're glad
you
joined us as well. We look forward to seeing your name in chat. Thank you, Adriana. Thank you, Zach.
Q&A, we get to really interact. When we have guests on, we can't do it as much, but our guests are always fascinating. I promise you. So with that being said, guys, that's what happens when you chat. Very interactive. When is Preston back on? Let me tell you what. I will tell you right now. Preston is coming back on, and I don't usually do this, on November the 9th, Michael. November the 9th.
I was going to say,
Preston
that's, yeah.
It is.
I didn't even have that down.
Now I'm going to be in a heartbeat again about the Folgers commercials. Promote yourself, promote our sponsor, be on the show. You never know. Renee's thing's been up probably about 6 times right now. We've had several that have come up that have played. We've got some that we haven't played yet because they are rolling in. I just need to get them over to the soundboard. So let's do that. Now, Wednesday night is, for the very first time, is Mark Oley, and he's going to be talking crystal skulls. Yeah, that's a first for the Outer Realm. I'll put that out there. We actually have a first coming up, crystal skulls. Thursday night, we welcome back Nick Redfern, who's got a new book. So hopefully that's going to work out. The last time, the poor guy just had no power.
He's had a couple of issues. Poor guy.
We let it go because it was a no power issue,
Yeah.
But Nicole. Okay, Nicole. Nicole is going to make us. Yeah. Okay.
Yay.
We want that commercial.
And just remember, you have to say Folgers because
Folgers
not
coffee,
everybody's
you've
watching.
Have something Folgers.
And promote yourself with the show.
Exactly. Yeah. And yay, Preston Dennett. Yeah.
You can find him in our archives as well on SoundCloud.
Oh yeah.
So if you missed that show, he was on just recently.
And the Outer Realm YouTube will have all the videos. Paranormal will have all the videos. So that is what we have coming up. Tomorrow night, tune in at 8 p.m. Eastern for the Church of Mavis. Always a lot of fun with these guys. And of course, we've got the Centralists coming up at 10 p.m. Eastern. And if you like politics, that's the way to do it. It's very neutral. It can get very heated, but it's also, really a good time. The guys are really, really informative. So with that being said, people have a fantastic weekend. Okay. And we will catch you next week. Everybody behave yourselves. Good night.